Hello everyone, and welcome back to another tutorial. The tutorial for today is we're gonna be doing a full tutorial, like full on how to make a Splatoon avatar in Unity. We're not gonna be using Blender to make the base model. Instead, we're gonna be using Unity to make the full avatar. So let's get right into it. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna open up Unity Hub. We're gonna make a new project for this. I'm just gonna name it tutorial and create. Make sure it's on 3D too. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. So let's just wait for this. So while this loads, what you will need is the VR Chat SDK. You can use Creator Companion for this, but I always use the normal Unity Hub because Creator Companion doesn't want to work for me. So, here's our Unity, and then, okay, so when it's resolving the packages, just give it a second. So while this loads, all the downloads that you need will be in the description, but if you want to search them up yourself, you will need the VRChat SDK, the avatar one, not the world's one. We're also gonna need Poyomi. Any version of Poyomi works. The most recent one is the one that works the best. I use Poyomi Pro. And the last thing we're gonna need are the model's resource files. So this whole thing right here, what I just did, this is 2D view. 2D view, what it does is it just makes the models look 2D. So you have to click the little cube where it says here. Gonna click the little cube and you go into 2D view. And then you can use the arrows to move around. Or you can hold your right click and you can also move around like this. Okay. So first things first, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our folders. For example, I have all of my Unity stuff inside a folder called Unity Stuff. So we're gonna look for VRChat SDK. I use 3.3, which is the most recent. I use Unity 2019. I know that VRChat is now switching to 2022, but you can just use Unity 2019 at the moment. So this is a tutorial on 2019, but if you're using 2022, it should be similar. I haven't tried it because I absolutely refuse to. So, while this loads, the VRChat SDK will take a while. You're just gonna have to let it do its thing. Alright, so now that we have the SDK here, it should be where it says file and stuff, VRChat SDK, and we're gonna work with this later. So now we're gonna install Poyomi into our project. So we're gonna look for a Poyomi Unity package. Here's mine, and then we're just gonna import it in. It will take longer than the VRChat SDK because it has more stuff. And also, when you're importing, make sure to click all because sometimes Unity just doesn't want to select everything. So just click all and then import. So keeping in mind that you downloaded the Splatoon models, use the Splatoon 3 models, not the Splatoon 2 because those have finger bones that are messed up. So for example, I'm gonna make a little octoling. So I'm just gonna grab here the octoling. So this is gonna be a basic tutorial of just an avatar, of just a basic avatar. But if you want to learn how to do visemes, for example, you can watch Foggy Cog's video. It will be in the description if you want to learn how to do visemes for Splatoon models. I really recommend his video. It's really good and I learned through that. So we're just gonna let everything import. I have some stuff of my own. I have my player visemes where we're gonna use the pre-made ones, aka the FBX and other stuff. Okay, so if you get this pop-up, it's the normal map settings. Just click fix now. It'll fix all the normal maps because they are messed up. So there we go. Now we're just gonna go here. And then we're gonna look for the FBX, which should be the second one. So you will have player 02 and player 02 and the FBX. So if you want to make a guide, it's gonna be the player 03. But I'm gonna make an Oxlane girl, so we're gonna use player 02.fbx. First one is the DAE, but we're gonna use the FBX. So we're gonna put it in. You're gonna see that it's really, really small. So do not touch anything and go over here in the inspector where it says scale. You're gonna put this to 36. And there we go. It should get bigger now. We're also gonna move the main camera because we don't want the icon. So we're just gonna move it in front. There we go. So this will look a little creepy. It says we have no blend shapes or anything. As you can see, they do not have any blend shapes. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna right click and we're gonna unpack the prefab completely. And there we go. So this allows us to modify the model in the hierarchy. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna delete all of the mouths to mouth 1 to mouth 4. The team color in the face, we're gonna keep the mouth 0 face and team color. So we're just gonna click the delete key. There we go. So now we'll only have one mouth, and we're also gonna remove the eyelids. So this looks a little creepy. So if you want to keep your stuff organized, which I won't in this video, or any videos because I'm not organized, we're gonna right click on the project, click create, and then look for material, which should be under audio mixer. So we're gonna name this one skin. And then we're just gonna hold it and we're gonna drop it onto the skin and the mouth. So it's a little shiny. So if you don't want to lose this and go back, you're gonna have to click this little lock right here. And now, for example, if you touch an image without the lock, it'll do this. We don't want to lose the material. So we're gonna click the lock, and then when we click on an image, we don't lose it. So under the lock and other stuff, where it says shader, we're gonna click that, and we're gonna do .poyomi and use the version of Poyomi that you're using. Poyomi Pro and normal Poyomi don't have many differences, so you won't have to worry about that. Everything that we need will be there. So we're just gonna wait for that to load. Should turn not purple, should turn blue for a second, so just let it load. That's because the Poyomi shader is scrolling, and then it should be a blinding white. So we're gonna open up colors and normals, and we're gonna look for the face albedo. So if you want to start with Blender, I'll leave also a COGS tutorial down in the description if you want to start from Blender and then go to Unity. His tutorial only covers the Blender part. I'm gonna be covering the Unity part. So now we're gonna use the albedo texture. We're gonna hold it, drop it where it says texture, and there we go. And we're also gonna look for the normal map, hold it, normal map. So now we're gonna go down to shading, and then what you're gonna do is we're gonna go to shading and then shading again under light data, and then where it says lighting type, we're gonna choose this to texture ramp. So this should pop up. It should be blue again because it's loading, as you can see down here. So now it'll look like this. Okay. So where it says lighting ramp, this gradient right here, we're gonna click that. We're gonna make a new one. And then we're gonna delete all these keyframes that we don't need. So it just leaves us with one at the end and one at the start. And the one at the end, we're gonna go to the back where there's no color ramp. We're gonna color pick the color of the skin. You have to make some adjustments to this, so I'm just gonna do like a dark brown. I'll leave dark brown. If you want to make it lighter, if you want to make it darker, I'll keep it like this. And then you can go ahead and close this tab. It should import. And then now you can play around with the settings. So what I'm gonna do is up the ramp offset so it doesn't look that, you know, heavy with the shadow. And then we're gonna lower the shadow strength like at 0.9. And there we go, we got the skin. So now for the body, we're just gonna duplicate the material with Control D. My phone, sorry if you hear that. We're gonna unlock this. We're gonna drag our skin one. If you want to change this to body, you can. I won't. And then you're gonna drop it onto the body. Now, this will look very messed up. So we're gonna lock it again. We're gonna look for the body albedo. So we're just gonna do the same thing. We're gonna drop the albedo into the texture, the normal map into the normal map. And there we go. We got the body and the face. So if you wanna, for example, change the skin color, we're gonna shift select both of the skins. We're gonna lock them in. And then where it says color and alpha, this right here, this little white thing, let's choose, for example, the skin color. There we go. So we're just gonna choose the skin color that we want, like this, for example. But I won't be doing that. But if you want to change the skin color, that's how you do it. I usually recommend using a very muted brown. But we're just gonna keep it white for now, to keep it down to the basics. Okay, so now for the eyes. We're gonna make a new material, create under audio mixer, material. We're gonna name this eyes. We deleted the eyelids so that we don't actually put the eyes into the eyelids, and then we're gonna drag and drop it. So if you can't drag and drop, what you're gonna want to do is select the eyes mesh, and right here where it says element 0, you're gonna drop the material, and there we go. So now we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna switch this to Buh-bye. If you want a more realistic look on your eyes, first things first, you're gonna choose your eye color. You have here your pre-made texture, so you can make some. Let's go with the black eyes, like that. And then we're gonna do the normal map. The normal map is the same for all of the eyes, so we're gonna do it like this. And then if you want them to look more realistic, because like this, they look kind of plain. So now we're gonna go down to shading, and then we're gonna turn on reflections to specular, and also clear coat. So we're gonna let this load for a little bit. You can look at this little bar down here to check the progress of it. There we go. So now you have more realistic eyes, but now they look too shiny. So we're gonna go down to clear coat, and then we're gonna turn down the clear coat strength to 0.1. There we go. So now you got shiny, shiny eyes. So now for the hair and eyebrows, we're gonna scroll up, and then these are kind of weirdly named. You're gonna go for the hair. Well, let's do eyebrows first. So you're gonna go down to EYB eyebrow, and then you're gonna select the FBX. I'm gonna do the O's. So we're gonna scale this up to 36, like we did with the actual model. All of them to 36, by the way, and then we're gonna move them up until they center like that, more or less, like that. So as you can see, there we have the eyebrows. So we're gonna go back to our octaling, and then we're gonna click create material. We're gonna name this eyebrows, and now we're gonna drag and drop it. like that. Do the same thing, Puyomi Pro. We're gonna lock this in because we're gonna lose it. So we're gonna look it. We're gonna go down to the folder to eyebrow. And then this little itty bitty texture right here is called the TCL. We're gonna drag and drop it to the texture. And then you're gonna want to select your ink color. With the color in alpha, yeah, switch that. So we're gonna make it a pink, because I like pink. So we're keeping pink. And there we go. So what I do for my avatars, we're gonna do a simple one. I'm not gonna do my actual style, which is very glittery and very glowy. But if you want this to look like a tentacle, well, this is just for the eyebrows. We'll do the hair in a second. You're just gonna want to turn on a reflection specular and clear coat. And there we go. So we're just gonna keep that for just a second. We're gonna actually for the clear coat, we're just gonna select the pink like that. And there we go. So now we're gonna go down to the har. Gonna delete that because we don't need it. It's a zip file. To the har folder. And these are all the hairs. You can look through the folders to see which one it is. For example, I'm gonna do 006. So we're gonna look for the F is for female and M is for male. So we're gonna choose the female one, drag and drop the FBX, switch this to 36, and then move it up like that. So there we go. Now we're gonna make a new material back in the Octaling folder. So no, we're just gonna name it hair. I accidentally made a folder. Give me a second. Create material. Now we can name it hair. There we go. So we're gonna drop it onto the hair. Choose the Buh-bye. Lock it in because we're gonna lose it. Go back to the har folder. Go back to 006 or the one that you've chosen. Now we're gonna go to the albedo, which is this one. It's the gray with the red. Drop this to the texture. Yes, it is gray. I'm gonna have to switch to that in a second. And then the normal map, which is the purplish one, forgot to mention that, should go into the normal map. So now we're gonna go down to special effects. We're not going down to shading. We'll go there in a second. We're gonna turn on emission 0. So it should load for a second. Give it a minute. Alright, there we go. So this didn't make any changes, so we're going to switch this to white, and then we're going to put the emission strength to 1. Now it's going to be a blinding white, but we're going to fix that in just a second. So we're going to do here, and we're going to choose the TCL, and we're going to drop this into the emission mask. It'll look like this. Do not change the texture to an RGB. Do not click fix now. That doesn't do anything. Well, it does, but you don't need to do it. So now for this, for the emission color, now we're going to switch to the pink that we did for the eyebrows. And there we go. Now you can play around with the emission strength to make it more pink. Keep in mind this will glow in the dark. So there we go. We got the basic ink color. So now we're going to go down to shading. We're going to do clear coat and reflections and specular, like always. We're going to make it all shiny. Okay, so now you have this. It'll look all shiny. I'm gonna do the clear coat. We're gonna select the pink again. There we go. And there we go. We got shiny, shiny tentacle hair. So if you want, you can play around with the special effects and the shading. We won't do it for this video, but if you want, you can play around with it. So now, how do we actually animate it? And how do we add clothes? How do we lock this with the hair? I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to go back to the Oxline folder. We're going to look for the base model that we use, which is player02.fbx. So we're going to click on it. We're not going to lock it. And then where it says rig, we're going to go to the rig tab. Animation type, so just do humanoid. You might need to make some adjustments and then click apply. Right, so now that it has been applied, we're going to click configure and then we're going to save this. So, you might notice it's tiny. You just gotta zoom in. Right, so you're gonna notice, It looks strange, definitely. So you're not gonna want to touch anything. You're just gonna go to head, and then double click the left eye, the right eye, and the jaw. So we're gonna do this one by one. Double click it, and then click the delete key. Double click it, delete key, double click, delete key. And then for this, the fingers are a little bit messed up, so we're gonna click once on the finger A2L, and we're gonna switch the thumb proximal to A1L, and then the intermediate A2L, and then this one A3L, the distal. And we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna click 1, 2, and 3, and there we go. We're done. So now we're just gonna click done, apply. Do not click revert or it won't do any changes. And then, oh my gosh, I've lost it. You just gotta zoom out, or you're gonna go to sample scene, double click on the player. It should zoom in. So now, this should open up, and then you have your animation, your avatar. So we're gonna set up first everything in the inspector for the base model. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna click on the base model, add component, search up animator. And then with the avatar that was just created, we're gonna drag and drop it into avatar. There we go. We're done. Well, we're actually not done, but. And then we're gonna add another component, VRC avatar descriptor. This is what we need to make it actually work in VRChat. So we'll get to that in a second. This is just to test it out. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna open up the player 02, the NW4F root. We're gonna open this up. We're gonna open up root, skeleton root, spine, spine 2, spine 3, neck, and head. So we're gonna select the eyebrows and the hair, and we're gonna drag and drop them into the head, right here. And there we go. Now it's locked to the head. So when you move around the head, should move around the hair and the eyebrows with it. So another thing that you might want to need and will be very useful will be gesture manager. So I already have it downloaded. I'll leave the download link in the description below. So we're gonna look for it, gesture manager. There we go. Let it decompress. All import. It shouldn't take too long. It'll just take a few seconds. If it freezes, just click on it and it should do its thing. There we go. Okay, so now gesture manager is uploaded onto our project. So now we're gonna go to where the VRChat SDK is. We're gonna click tools, not into the VRChat. Where the file edit assets, we're gonna find tools, and then we're gonna click gesture manager emulator. And then you'll see a little thing pops up on our hierarchy. So now, if we're going to play mode, we're just clicking the little triangle right here. You're gonna see, oh my god, there's nothing here. Yeah, click scene. So now, with the gesture manager, we're just gonna click it. And there we go. This simulates how it would look in VRChat. So you can see, nothing moves. So, what we're gonna do is, first of all, test if the gestures work. So we're gonna try and do a fist. That works well. Open. Finger point. Victory, rock and roll, gun, and thumbs up. Same thing with the other hand. You don't have to go through this step. I just like to do it to just check how everything is. So when you're in play mode and you're checking it, this is just to check how it would look. Don't do any changes in play mode because they won't save. So we're gonna exit play mode by clicking on the triangle again. And there we go. So how do you make the hair move? AKA fist bones. So we're gonna go back to player 2. We're gonna look for the head and the hair model. Or you can just click on it and it should bring you to it. Now, or you can just double click it. Yeah, that works. Now we're gonna go to head root and then we're gonna look for the L and R. You can also do the scaler if you want, but no, actually the scaler, no. Well, yeah, just the front parts. So we're gonna add a component. We're gonna first shift click these two. Then we're gonna add a component. We're gonna look for Fizzbone. There we go. Now we got Fizzbones. So to make it actually collide with our hands, where it says collision, turn the radius up. So you will see a little white capsule. It's too big. So we're gonna do 0.002. There we go. So now, we have this. And now we should, for example, I'm gonna switch the camera around so that we can do, I'm gonna rotate it 180, minus 180 degrees. Follow the field of view 20. And then we're gonna move it like this, so that we can actually see the full body picture. So now, if we go into play mode, let's check it out. Oh, oh my gosh, that's there. Yep, and then you can just hold and grab the hair. There you go. Our mouse acts like our hands, so we can just grab it. You can play around with it. Gesture manager. Yeah, okay, so it works. Now, how do we add clothes? Because, you know, that's something that we need. Because we're not going to walk around naked. Okay, so now you have this. Also, by the way, I forgot one material. Before we do the clothes, we're going to add one more material. Which is going to be the pants, the inner pants. So we're just going to do material. We're going to name this pants. I'm going to drag and drop into this. Puyomi Pro. And we're not going to touch anything. We're just going to go color, normal scale and alpha. Choose this to black. And there we go. Done. So now you should have everything with the Puyomi shader. Oh yeah, and also the tooth. So we're going to duplicate the pans with Ctrl D. We're going to name this teeth. And instead of black, we're doing white. And then since the teeth are inside of the mouth. Sorry, I keep forgetting stuff. I'm really messy, so I always forget stuff. But we're gonna select the tooth model, drag it into element 0, and then with the eyebrow thing that we made, we're gonna select the mouth, which is the team color, and then we're just gonna drag it into element 0, and there we go. Now we got the mouth. Okay, so now to actually add clothes, we're gonna download them from another resource, and then we're just gonna look for them. I'm just gonna look for one that I ripped from the game because they are not every clothes instance models resource, so you can use the Splatoon 2 ones. It'll work the same. So I'm just gonna look for, I don't know. Let's see. Let's do the Big Slick. So now we're just gonna drag and drop the folder of the Big Slick into our project. There we go, we got the Big Slick. So now we're just gonna bloop. And we don't need scaling for this because it's already, it's a DAE. If you ripped it from the game, if it's an FBX, you're gonna have to size it up to whatever size you made it the player model. So now we got the Big Slick. And now we're just gonna make a material for it. And we're gonna do it short. And there we go. So just Puyomi. There's always the same process. Lock it, color normals, texture, normal map. So for this, for the clothing, to actually see the normal map and actually make it look nice, go to shading, texture ramp. And we're gonna we're not gonna switch the lighting ramp this time. We're gonna change the ramp offset, like about 0.3. And now we're gonna switch down the shadow strength. And there we go. Now you can actually see the normals and make it look nice. So attaching clothes to the player model is a little harder. So we're gonna drag the clothes into the player model like this. And then we're gonna unpack the prefab completely by right clicking on it. We're gonna open this up. We're gonna open up the armature. And then you're just gonna wanna match the bones. So skeleton root goes to the skeleton root of the player 02. Spawner root goes with it. Spine 1. And then we're gonna open this up. Spine 2. Spine 3. Clavicle. Arm. Arm assist. Arm 2. Elbow. Wrist. Wrist assist. Also wrist, the left one has the weapon L. You don't have to attach it, but if you want, you can. Now we're gonna close the clavicle L, and then we're gonna do it the same with the clavicle R. So we're just gonna do the exact same thing. Elbow, wrist, wrist, and then weapon R. Okay, so now where it says spine 3, we're gonna connect the neck with the neck and the head with head. Now we can close the spine and then go to the waist. So we're gonna do the waist for the waist, leg 1L, and leg assist. Leg 1R, leg assist. There we go. So now if we go back into play mode and go to gesture manager, you will see that everything's locked in. Ta-da! So now we can just move the model around, and you'll see that the hair moves, and the clothes are attached. So, okay, that works. Let's just fix it. There we go. So for the shoes, we're gonna have to go to Blender for this, but I've already made it. You're just gonna wanna go to Blender, open up your shoes, select everything, Control M, and then click X, and then just export it or save it as a blend. So we're gonna do the Pearl Oysters. Here we go. We're just gonna drop it into our assets. We're just gonna drop it into our assets. And then we're gonna do Pearl Oysters. I already have my right one ready. So, let me check. So this is R. So the shoe is always the left one, because they only have one model. So this one is just that. And then you're just gonna wanna... So let's put the left one first. I'm a little messy, like I said. So we're just gonna fit it into the foot, like this. So just make sure it looks good from all angles, from the bottom, from the top. It looks all good. Now, we're gonna put in our right one, and then we're gonna go back to the left one. Copy the transform component, copy component, and then with the right one, we're just gonna paste component as values. Click the 3 dots, by the way. Now it'll go to this side, so we're gonna switch the X, we're gonna remove the little dash, and there we go, it goes to the other side. And there we go, we got the Pearl Oysters. So we're just gonna do the same thing that we did for the clothes. We're just gonna shift click, we're gonna put it into the player 02 model, unpack prefab, and then where it says armature, we're just gonna look for this. Also, I recommend for this, you can actually switch the names of the bones, so we're just gonna switch the right ones. Since they're mirrored, the bones do not mirror, so we're just gonna switch this to R. So, toe L, we're gonna switch this to R, only do this for the right one. And toe, right end. So, that's just for... to make it easier. So now we're just gonna we're gonna start with the left one. So we're gonna do leg 1L and leg 2L. We're gonna open this up until we see the one that it starts with, which is ankle assist. So we're gonna drop this in, and then we're gonna drop ankle to ankle and toe to toe. And then there we go. And then do the same thing. So leg 2, open up the right one, ankle assist, ankle, toe, and then the toe or end, if you have one of those, just drop it. You don't need it. You can delete it, actually. Right, so now we're gonna make a new material for the shoes. So we're just gonna call them shoes. And then we're gonna put them on both of the shoes since they're mirrored. They have the same UVs and everything. Buh-bye Pro. And then we're gonna do the same thing that we did for the shirt. So texture, normal map, fix now. For the normal maps, you always gotta fix now, or the normal maps will be messed up. For the other stuff, for the masks and stuff, you don't need that. Shading, texture, ramp offset, change that. Shadow strength, change that. And there we go. So now you got the shoes going on. So let's check it out. Gesture manager, and there we go. Look at the shoes. We got the shoes going on. And then for, if you want a headgear or something, you're just gonna want to do the same thing that we did for the hair and the eyebrows. And also we need pants. So we're just gonna go back. You don't actually need to download anything for this. You're just gonna go to the Octane folder, BTM, and then we're gonna choose ours. So I'm gonna use the long pants. So it's gonna be BTM 001. I'm gonna use if you have trouble finding the pants that you want, I will leave a reference sheet in the description to help you with what the files are called. So we're going to use BTM 001, which are the long pants. We're going to use the female version, select the FBX, scale this up to 36. There we go. Now move them to position. Should be like that. So as you can see, they will clip a little bit, but it's easily fixable. We're just gonna need to make some adjustments. So before we lock it in, we're gonna unpack the prefab, open up waist, and then leg 1L, and then we're gonna see what are the things that clip. So for example, that clips, so we're gonna move the leg 1L like that until it just doesn't want to clip anymore. So we're going to select the scale tool right here. We're going to scale it up just a tad. And then move it again. And then we're just going to do leg 2L. We're going to scale this up. And then we're going to move it. And there we go. We got one that's perfectly good. So we're going to do the same thing for the other leg. Okay. So we're just going to make a new material. So for example, if you want the ripped pants, you're just going to want to make a new material, call it pants. Make it in whatever folder you want. Choose this to Puyomi. Right, so for example, I want, what do I want? I want the like lines one. So we're just gonna switch this. So we're gonna put the albedo, it's gonna be BTM 001, which has the lines like that. And then we're gonna go down to shading, actually not, special effects, sorry. And turn on emission, switch this to white to just see what we're doing. And then emission start 51. And then the TCL, put it into emission mask. And then switch this to pink. And then you're just gonna wanna play around with the emission. And there we go. Now we got the striped pants. So we're gonna do the same thing we did for the clothes. We're just gonna do the locking. Okay, there we go. So now everything should be correct. Open up gesture manager. Make sure you don't have anything locked or gesture manager won't do it. So just unlock that. And there we go. So we have here our Splatoon avatar. To upload it, it's pretty simple. So we're just, like I said, we're just gonna do the basics. So we're gonna upload this, and then yeah, it's gonna be it for this video. I'll do animations and other stuff in another video soon, and then you're just gonna wait for it to load, and then you're gonna wanna log in to your account. So I'm just gonna log in to mine, to your VRChat account, by the way. So sign in. If you have two-step verification, it should give you a code. So I'm just gonna put in my code. There we go, and then click verify. And there we go. So now you're just gonna want to keep a name to a tutorial, and then blah blah blah. So you can put it to public or private. I'm just gonna do private. You can select a new thumbnail, which is you can select a PNG, or you can capture from scene, which we'll do the 3D view. We're just gonna do it like this, capture. that works. And then where it says autofix, just click that. These are errors that you will need to fix to actually upload it. And the shader keywords utility, you don't actually have to do anything about it. And then you just click build and publish. So we're gonna click that. It might take a while to load, and then your avatar's render don't have a link, or yeah, click yes. And then click OK. And there you go. Now, this should be checking existing records and uploading the file. So there goes the signature, and it's refreshing the data now. And then there we go. Your avatar was uploaded to VRChat. You can dismiss this. Okay. So loading into VRChat, you're gonna see a new tab if this is your first avatar. It should be an uploaded tab under recently used. So we're gonna change into the avatar that we just made. Right, so there's some stuff that are a little messy, but this is how it looks. So we're gonna fix all of that. So you're gonna see our viewpoint is really high up. So this is how we change it. And then also, when we talk, our mouth doesn't move. We're gonna also change that. So we're just gonna close the VRChat SDK real quickly. And then where it says here, view position, make sure you have turned on gizmos. So you're just gonna wanna click that. Click edit, where it says view position, and then drag this down. Make sure it's inside the head and in between the eyes. So like that. And then you can just return that. And then where it says lip sync, so we're not going to use viseme, so we're going to use the jaw flap bone. And then we're going to choose the jawbone, which is called Joe, for some reason. And then if it doesn't select it, just click it again. There we go. And then open. We're just going to move it like that. And then there we go. Now we can just upload it again. Build and publish. So to actually update it, you're just going to want to switch into another avatar. This is my marine avatar, by the way. If you want to go get her, it's in my world. I'll leave it down below. So now it's uploading the file again. It's refreshing the data. And there we go. Your avatar was uploaded to VRChat. So now we can switch it back into it. And there we go. Everything should be okay. So now when you talk, your mouth moves. And your viewpoint is actually correct.